Welcome back to The Next Wave, brought to you by the Pacific Asian Center for Entrepreneurship. I'm one of your hosts, Ian.
And I'm one of your revolving co-hosts, Tim. We're here to dive into the journeys of emerging entrepreneurs, community leaders, and industry professionals, all of whom who are making significant contributions to the local economy in Hawaii.
Each episode, we aim to inspire, educate, and connect you with insights from industry leaders and the rising stars of entrepreneurship.
So grab your phones, coffee, boba tea, or whatever you drink, and join us as we ride the next wave of innovation and opportunity.
So my name is Olga Boric-Lubecki. I'm originally from Serbia. I'm a professor of electrical and computer engineering at UH Manoa. I've been at UH since 2003. And I have degrees in electrical engineering, bachelor's degree from University of Belgrade in Serbia, and then I have a master's degree from Caltech and a PhD from UCLA.
Wow. You just picked all of them. That's awesome.
It would be easy to say what you haven't done.
Yeah, right?
I don't have any business degrees, right? And I don't know anything about a recording.
Well, you got to let us do something.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what I guess drove you to get all of these different degrees and everything that you wanted to do?
Well, I was interested in an academic career, right? I enjoy teaching. I enjoy working with students like Samira. So that was probably the main driver, and also research. Yeah.
And did it just kind of branch and stem out naturally to everything that you did?
Pretty much, yes. I did a little bit of research for a company before I came to the university. So that was also interesting to actually see how you can turn research into a product. And I think that's perhaps maybe informing what we're doing now as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really interesting too. I mean, I didn't even realize that just academics in itself it can be a career.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always thought it was like you have to do something, you have to hammer a nail or, something specific.
Have a specific niche instead of kind of to the broad focus.
Learning it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Olga. That was amazing. Awesome.
I'm Jonathan Samira, and I am doing my PhD at electrical engineering, and my advisor is Dr. Olga Boric-Lubecki. I'm also, before coming here, I'm originally from Bangladesh, where I did my undergrad and my master's there. And then I started my PhD.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask a little more question. I'm sorry. But I'm curious as to now you're both from very different places, from Hawaii. What drove you here to Hawaii?
Why Hawaii? So we had, my husband and I, we had a very good friend who was a professor at the University of Hawaii. And he actually encouraged us to apply. He thought we would enjoy working here. And before we came to Hawaii, we spent several years in Japan. And we thought, Hawaii is close to Japan, so we would be going back and forth between Hawaii and Japan, working with our colleagues and visiting our friends. That's not quite the way it worked out, because when we moved to Hawaii, we had our children. And then we didn't travel so much. So we didn't take advantage of that proximity to Japan very much. But we have enjoyed living here very much.
Oh, so you got anchored down then?
Yeah. So we moved here and we got anchored down, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And you, Samir?
I actually came to Hawaii because of my PhD studies. So that was the main reason for coming here. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So engineering in Hawaii is pretty good? Or is it?
Yes, it is. And also, I got the opportunity to study here. That's why.
That's true. Helping you turn down beaches and...
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to say no to Hawaii out here. Awesome. How did you guys initially meet? Like, how did you guys are... Sorry, you said you were her mentor, or what was that?
Yes. So it was actually Samira's husband who was recruited by my husband to come to UH. Then it's really lucky that actually Samira decided to come to Hawaii as well. But Samira's husband was introduced to my husband by his former students. So we have a small pipeline of students coming from Bangladesh who kind of recommend other potential students to us.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. And how did that kind of start
Transpired.
forming into what WellNETS is today and what we're kind of here to talk about?
So I was working on researching on the physiological sensing with radar, and I was in my third year when I decided to apply for a fellowship at the Office of Innovation and Commercialization. And during that time, I wanted to build a device that has real life application. And so based on so we saw that this fall detection with the elderly people has like a big market potential and need. So we decided to build a device or work on a device that can detect the fall for the elderly people.
Sure.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Where did this whole like idea originate from? Where was its birth?
Um, I will let Professor.
Okay. You mean the fall detection or the physiological monitoring? Yeah.
I guess both, really.
Yeah.
Whichever you want to start with.
Right. So physiological monitoring is actually research that I have been involved with for decades now, close to not quite 30 years, but more than 25 years.
Wow.
And originally, my husband, Professor Victor Lubecki, and myself, we started this while we were at Bell Labs in New Jersey. And the idea was to use communication signals for physiological monitoring, signals that are already in the environment. So over the years, we have developed different techniques for this kind of monitoring. Now, regarding the question of why elderly and why now, my mom is 91 and she occasionally falls. So that's my personal motivation. And I have many friends and relatives who are elderly and who could benefit from this type of monitoring.
Some of the best innovations definitely come from something that's close, personal to you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's incredible. Over 25 years within this field of study.
Yeah.
I can only imagine just all the wealth of knowledge that you have.
Well, we have built that with number of students who graduated from UH. So it's been an interesting journey, an exciting journey for us.
Oh, fantastic.
Awesome. Well, can you guys tell us a little bit more about what WellNETS really is, how it all works?
Yes. So WellNETS is a elderly fall monitoring sensor. So it stands for Wellness Non-Contact Elderly Tracking System. So it can detect if a person fell down, and it will automatically alert when there is a fall accident. So current solution requires for the fall detection is actually requires the person to wear, which can be very demanding for people because elderly people have them also are majority number of them are also memory compromised, so it really hard for them to remember where they kept the device. So and also there many people just do not prefer to wear the device because you have to really keep track of it. And then if you do not really want to wear a device, then the other options for being contactless is camera, which can weigh heavily on the privacy of that person. So that's why WellNets kind of tries to address this issue by being completely contactless and not using any camera or microphone to sense that person in the room.
Awesome. And how is that done without any like camera or anything? What are you using?
So we're using the radar to sense the person in the room. And so the radar just sends out the signal, kind of like the speed gun of the police car. So it just sends out the signal to the human body, and then it hits our body, and then it gets reflected back from the body, and then we analyze the signal to get the information, like vital signs and how the person is moving, the gait information, from which we can understand if the person fell down or not.
Interesting. So you're using a radar, and so that's a radar that's kind of placed in a room. I'm just imagining a light that's sensing everything that's moving, like kind of a motion sensor light. Is that kind of correct? And so it's consistently kind of tracking where a person is. Yeah, and
Awesome.
it's able to notice the difference between somebody maybe kind of picking something up off the ground or maybe even just like going to sleep versus an emergency?
Yes, it can because during the emergency, when the person falls down, their vitals and their physical condition will be significantly different than when they're resting in the sleep or when they're just sitting down and change the position. Actually, during the Launchpad program that I'm currently in, we actually did the testing with the participants where they're just getting up and then and it looks as different than where the person will fall down.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like consistently able to monitor your vital signs, like my heart rate. Oh, so if I have a room with this, I never need to use my Apple Watch again. So I can just just tell me what to do. Oh, I mean, it's the future of smart homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's easily distinguishable from other, like even like animals. Say if you have like a big dog, it's able to distinguish that pretty easily.
Oh, yes, because the pets have different signatures than us. Their vitals are also different than ours.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's really cool. So, well, I guess within this process, what have you learned so far? Have you come across any obstacles, like in specific?
You mean in terms of technology or in terms of going to market?
Technology first.
Yeah, let's
I'm
start with
curious more about
technology. Yeah, I'm
technology.
curious about both. But yeah, let's start with technology.
Yeah, so some technical issues that we're looking to address are, for example, separating signals from multiple individuals. So if there is more than one person in the environment, we will get signatures from everybody, right? So we have some techniques to distinguish signals from multiple people. So first we have to separate them, and then we have to figure out who is who. So we can actually do signal separation and authentication because the physiological signatures, they're kind of like a fingerprint, not as detailed, but everybody breathes in their unique way. And, there are other parameters that are unique. So we can actually distinguish signatures from multiple individuals.
Wow, interesting. So there aren't two people who, maybe I guess if you had around 5 people, the radar will be able to sense all of them, have to evaluate like if it's a new person or somebody. Like would it create a profile and then basically say, oh, Jim is back in the room, or every time it has to just evaluate.
Is it one setup for one specific person, or is it kind of like you can set up several different people, if that makes sense?
So I'm a computer science major, so I'm thinking in terms of programming and like, wow, how'd you do that?
Yes, so you would need to know some information about the person to be able to find them in the group of people, right? So when you first do the measurement, you need a little bit of data to essentially say this is person A. And then every time that person walks in and out, you would be able to say, oh, person A just walked into the room.
Okay, so it's like with the setup and all the beginning into that. Cool. That definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, very interesting. That's super cool. So what are these issues that you guys had kind of bringing it to market? How's that going so far?
So we're learning how to find the easiest entry points, right, into the market. So we originally thought that we would use B2C, so business to customer model. And actually, Samira did a lot of customer interviews with the elderly and their caregivers to understand their market segment. But now through the Startup Launchpad, what we're learning is that it may be easier to first use the B2B business to business approach. So instead of selling directly to customers, to approach retirement homes, assisted living, independent living facilities. And even though that's a smaller market, it may be an easier market to initially address.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so you can build a little bit of traction. And I imagine, some of these huge housing facilities are going to be buying, several thousand at a time. So that's a good way to gain traction very quickly and be heard of within the market.
Yeah, especially as a smaller startup, I imagine that would make sense. If you want to B2C, then you could have you'd need a bigger team or maybe more logistics in order to handle possible issues, maybe customer service or all these other things. Whereas if you're B2C, you have larger clientele or less clientele, but potentially sell more to each of those clientele.
Right.
Like more manageable list, I guess.
Right.
I can see how that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's,
Awesome. Mhm.
oh, no. I'll let you.
Oh, okay, cool. So I guess jumping into how or like what kind of like PACE programs I guess have helped you, or how did you first hear about PACE? I guess is a better question.
Oh, I heard about PACE through the newsletters, and also through the Office of Innovation and Commercialization Fellowship Program, and where they talked about it, and we used to have daily meetups at PACE. So that was the first time I heard about, and I got to learn about here. And then I also learned about the venture competition through one of those seminars. And then it was a really interesting competition because there are so many opportunities. Even beside the competition, like boot camps, there were also two seminars before the competition. So I decided to compete in that, and through that I got to learn more about the base and got more engaged here.
Awesome, super cool. And now you're in Launchpad. No, you're in the
Yes,
Summer Startup Launchpad
yes.
currently. Awesome.
I was actually at the venture competition, and I believe you guys placed second. Is that correct?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I mean,
congratulations.
honestly, well, not only the prize money, but also the resources that you got along with that. Like, I actually entered myself, but I got cut at the first round.
Oh shoot.
Granted, it's a good idea. We definitely didn't work on it long enough, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's very competitive, so it is very
So
impressive that
competitive.
you guys were able to place second place. That's awesome.
But honestly, listening to, I mean, the business idea and I mean, all the credibility that you have behind it with your years of experience, I mean, it makes sense. You know, I mean, honestly, with whether it was first place or second place, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, for sure. And then, Olga, are you familiar, like, as far as PACE goes, was it just through Samira or did you?
No, I was actually introduced to PACE through my previous startups. So this is my third go round.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So actually, I think it was through my second startup, which was focused on commercializing this technology for occupancy sensing. So we went through Accelerate UH program, and through that program, I met Peter Rowan, who was an executive director of PACE. And we have had some support from PACE through entrepreneurs who were involved with the organization. So that's how I learned about it. Yeah.
Oh, both longtime PACE affiliates then. Oh, it's great to meet you then,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
than just this.
Yeah, absolutely. How has Pace like helped you guys bring WellNETS to life and to bring it to where it is now?
Okay.
Sorry.
So these actually helped. First of all, I got a lot of mentorship and one-on-one coaching here. And those one-on-one coaching and mentorship are both very helpful because during those time I was able to identify the key areas of improvement, and coming from completely engineering background, so this has been a really helpful to at least improve myself. And also I also got to learn and communicate with lots of people with similar entrepreneurial mindset here, and through the venture competition I actually got lots of opportunities, and like you mentioned that we have office space and several other like web page development help that really helped us to get started with the business.
Awesome.
All right. Awesome. I used the same question to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can just second that. So
Yeah.
we really received tremendous support and help from PACE. So the mentor that was assigned to our team was extremely helpful, Chris Daniels.
Awesome.
He made a lot of difference with helping formulate the pitch and formulate the go-to-market strategy. And then once we made it to semifinals, after semifinals, we had coaching with Jeff Hui and his team. And he was also extremely helpful in refining the pitch and continues to be very helpful through this Launchpad program. So I think really these contacts within the business community are of great value to us because we don't have that in engineering. So it's actually, hearing from business experts and having their help on board is tremendously helpful.
Yeah, it does blow my mind
Yeah.
as far as how many resources are available here at Pace. Like the extensive list of like professionals in residence
Yeah.
or just those that can help you out with your business. Yeah. I do hope it gets taken advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, it's great to hear that people are using those resources.
Yeah, I think we're using everything. Yes.
Absolutely,
That
which is
available.
great.
Yes.
We get a lot of business students coming in here, and people who already have that drive for like an entrepreneurial mindset. So it's really nice seeing people from other fields come in and just utilize Pace's resources to try and get a little bit more of a business perspective and start something. Do you guys have like the most like exciting part of your business or just entrepreneurship in general? Since this is kind of newer to you, this new field of entrepreneurship, is there any like exciting moments that you guys have had or anything like that?
Well, the most exciting thing for me is that my student created a company.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. What about you, Samira?
It's actually just learning about the research that I did, the commercialization potential, and it's just the transition from the lab to the real world. It's also it's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, quite different worlds. Right?
Yes.
And that goes for both of you, I imagine, right? And so does the life of entrepreneurship kind of sway you a little bit more away from academia or?
Well, I really see it as part of my mission to educate students, right? So my entrepreneurial journey really has been about training our students in tech transfer and also opening their mind to the possibility of starting companies in Hawaii and creating their own jobs. So that's essentially what Samira is doing now with the company that she founded. This is a way for her to create a job in Hawaii and stay here and thrive.
Yes, and I can only imagine that the interdisciplinary skills that you use between entrepreneurship, business, as well as going into whatever STEM field you're in can, only seek to make it better or excel in it.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Awesome. Do you guys have any like short-term or even long-term goals for WellNETS in general, or even yourselves?
Well, the short-term goal is to win a grant.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what we're working on right now. Long-term is to bring WellNETS to market, to actually help people age in place.
And we won't have to worry about that falling over.
Yes, absolutely.
It'll definitely be out in market. It'll be nice and set.
Absolutely. Do you have any like short-term or long-term goals? Anything to add to that?
Also, at present, like graduating and starting
Yes,
to work for
absolutely.
work for the company, and like Professor said, bringing it into life, where people can use it and where people will use it.
Which is super exciting. I mean, just thinking that you're already going to market, I mean, that means there's like a MVP 2, 3, 4, or as far as what stage it's in.
MVP, maybe 0.
So I guess the plan for the market while you're working on the technology side.
Yeah. So MVP. So I mean, Samira is in the process of putting it together. So there is a prototype, but I don't know if you would call it. I don't know if it's a minimum viable product yet, right? I would say it's a working prototype.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just assuming that you're modest because I feel like most STEM people are. Although when it comes to tech, it's quite difficult here.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Awesome. Well, that's very exciting. You guys are getting it all together and almost to an MVP. Yeah. Do you guys have like a timeline or so when you think you'll have like the first, minimum viable products out there?
So we will try to work on the minimal viable product by at least we would want to have it as soon as possible by that at least by the first half of the next year, and then we will start testing on it for its how much accurate it is to have the most like robust testing, but we will try to have it at least by the end of the next year. Yes.
Awesome. Well,
Very cool.
you can always let us know if you need people to fall for you guys. We can take turns testing it out. Too funny. What would you think that like engineering students could take away from like the entrepreneurial mindset, or what would you like encourage them towards doing something like that? Or
I would definitely encourage it because for me that it's been a different learning journey for me. It's also discovering a different new world soon, and I would also say that it actually helped me to understand like keeping an open mind and then reshaping according to what's actually needed in the real world, and then reshaping your research according to that. It's actually what entrepreneurial experience so far has helped me understand.
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I have one question for you as well. Is through your experiences through PACE, how can engineering students benefit from like participating in these PACE programs?
Oh, they can absolutely benefit. I think it's just learning really something about how to bring product to market makes engineers better engineers, right? So that you essentially inform your design by real need
Man.
and not necessarily by what you think makes sense from the engineering perspective, because sometimes what makes sense from the engineering perspective is maybe not what customers want.
How would you, this is kind of an odd question, but how would you differentiate the engineering mindset from the business mindset? I know it's drastically different, but
Well, engineering mindset maybe doesn't necessarily takes into account things like ease of use, cost,
Yes, absolutely.
even manufacturability, right? So, we can do things in the lab that can produce very impressive results. But the bottom line is, that doesn't mean, that getting really great data that can make a really great research contribution is maybe not necessarily something that would be most useful in everyday life. Right? So, usually what we find is that we do things that are pretty complicated in the lab, but maybe what would be most useful is something a lot simpler, with fewer things that can go wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are trade-offs like that maybe in engineering we don't always consider, right? We want to produce the best technical design, right? But in the real world, there are more constraints, right? With, time to deliver and the cost, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Reliability and so on and so forth.
That interdisciplinary understanding kind of comes into play.
Yes.
yeah.
So I'll ask you, what is your experience with PACE? How did you get involved? And what does it mean for you?
It's interesting. As a computer science student, we're pretty secluded to the other side of campus, and we have one floor. Most of them kind of just stay there and study there. But fortunately, one of my friends told me about PACE. And he's like, yeah, this is really cool place. I do these things, do these events. I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. I would love to be part of that. And I applied, got in, and honestly, I definitely never stopped saying that this is probably one of the best programs that are affiliated with UH or part of UH. And that's been my experience so far. I'm one of the makerspace guys. I manage the makerspace, so I'll help with prototyping or whatnot. So also if you need somebody to fall over, you want to record it. We're good for that.
But yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. For me, I did two project managers, people that make all this really possible. They did a classroom presentation in one of my classes way back in freshman year when I just started here. And it seemed super interesting. I've always had some sort of I don't know, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So seeing a resource center that had all of these cool resources that we could use was really fascinating to me. So I started diving into it a little bit more, and at the time I needed a job, so I actually found a job for PACE. And I applied and
I
went
went
through the whole process. And
I've been working for Pace now as a student assistant for what, three and a half years now.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've loved every second of it. I got to see the inception of this place. We used to just be a small little place up in Shidler, and now we have this massive spot here with the flex space. Now we have a recording studio, the maker spaces, kūpuna, all sorts of fun stuff. So it's been really nice to see Pace grow and meet like-minded people like you guys.
Wow, 3 years? That was from the beginning.
It was probably 2 months into college, and I was here.
That's very fortunate. Most people kind of find out about the end.
Absolutely, it's like the last year, and they're like, well, I wish I knew about this earlier. Absolutely.
But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess we have one last little thing. Could you guys sum up your experience with entrepreneurship or even Pace specifically in like one sentence?
I would say PACE provides opportunities for our students to bring their ideas to life.
Awesome.
Well said.
Yeah, but it's likewise, Pace actually provides a platform for converting the ideas and the technology into scalable ventures.
Awesome. Very well said. Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah. No final thoughts. Anything else?
No, I would just like to thank you guys, and thanks Sandra Fujiyama for all her support and everything she has done. I mean, I have seen the transformation of that small space in Shidler to what you have ongoing here, and it's really fantastic to have that kind of resource and support on campus for our students.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much for joining us today.
And thank you for, making the world a better place. But cheers. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
We hope this episode has inspired you to continue on your entrepreneurial journey. Remember, all you need to take is that first step to your wave into motion.
And don't forget to follow us for more inspiring stories and expert advice.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the future episodes of The Next Wave, where we celebrate entrepreneurs of today and tomorrow. As always, keep up with the pace.
Oh, I smacked the mic.